And welcome everybody to Gate to Wire. I'm Bruce Casella, along with the beautiful Dani Gibson, co-host of Let's Go Racing. Hi, Dani.
Bruce, the gates are open. Gate to wire, we're back. This is episode 10.
Wow, that's a lot. We're moving right along there. Coming up in just a bit, we're going to have former state senator Tomlinson, who is just the neatest guy.
No, he's the best, and he's been such a big influence on Pennsylvania horse racing and was with the whole Smarty Jones. Can't wait to talk about his time. And we just love him. I mean, he's an ally to us, and we couldn't be more appreciative.
And I love his white hair too.
Oh, yeah, you spot him in a crowd. He
Very
loves horse
handsome, very
racing.
handsome guy. All right, so big news. Our Hall of Famer, Parks Hall of Famer, Butch Reed, number 1,000.
Yeah, big career milestone, got it right here at his home track with Jeannie Marie. What's so cool about this story is she's a homebred for LC Racing, Glenn Bennett, and Cash's King, Chuck Zachney. Not only is she a homebred for longtime owners, Glenn and Chuck, she wintered at Mark Reed's farm. So this is a homebred through and through. Butch got to celebrate with his wife Ginny, his brother Mark. Uncle Brian missed it. That's his other brother, but big celebration for 1,000. And I know he's happy to get that number over with, but well deserved. What a career he's had.
It's pretty funny. I tried to follow him around with the camera, but he was way away far from everybody else.
Well, and that's his normal thing, right? Trainers, they don't want to watch the race with the owners. They like to digest it on their own. But Butch is usually pretty quiet during the race. I could hear him rooting Jeannie home, and it was so cool to see them jumping around and having a good time and getting to do it at their home track.
Yeah, that was really nice. And of course, we'll get more on this on Let's Go Racing Parks.com with Let's Go Racing on Saturday.
Back on NBC Sports.
That's right. We're back on NBC Sports. That's great.
Happy to be back. I know our fans are happy. I've heard a lot of stuff from the fans. Some of them don't do YouTube, so they'll be thrilled to have their morning coffee with us.
That's right. And Saturday, of course, the Kentucky Derby. You got any picks?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I really love the favorite journalism. My heart, of course, is with some of the underdog stories, like Chunk of Gold and Coal Battle. But to me, it's a great race for journalism and Sovereignty Belmont. So I'm going to throw some long shots in there. I can't wait to see what Dick has to say. But we'll be racing here at Parks. Gates open up 10. Family fun in the picnic area, face painting. They're going to have a DJ. The grills will be going and live racing. First post is 12:40, so you can watch all the races here and then watch the Kentucky Derby on the big screen and the Smarty Jones exhibit.
That's right. I was looking at that. They're just starting to set that up during this week, and that's going to be pretty exciting. There's beautiful trophies from the Kentucky Derby and, of course, the Preakness Stakes.
Yeah, and you're going to see some other cool stuff, other surprises. His Silks, you'll be able to get really up close with everything and appreciate our champion right here at Parks where it deserves to be.
All right, Dani. Well, let's bring in our former state senator, Tomlinson, shall we?
Yeah, let's talk to him.
And welcome, Senator Tomlinson. How's it going, Senator?
Doing pretty good for an old guy. I'm hanging in there.
Well, you always look dapper.
Yeah, you always look great. Hey, big news. Smarty Jones into the Hall of Fame. What's your thoughts about that, Tommy?
Oh, my gosh. I can't tell you how excited I am about it. Number one, I just think it's well-deserved. I think he just did so much for my area. In this area. And I think he did a lot for the sport because a lot of people who weren't watching horse racing, all of a sudden, Smarty got their attention. And he was just that little horse who just came from nowhere and ran away with the race. And he just, it enlightened a lot of people. It inspired a lot of people. And actually, I had been working on the gaming bill for probably 10 years and was still struggling with it. As soon as Smarty Jones won, everybody wanted to see Smarty Jones. They wanted to meet John Service. They thought, oh, my gosh, this is exciting. He literally turned around the spirit of a lot of people in Pennsylvania.
So take us back to that atmosphere back in 2004. That must be such an incredible time, not only in the community here, but politically.
Well, Pennsylvania is a very interesting state, politically speaking. Your rural areas are Republican and conservative. They all did not want any gaming to be done at all. Ironically, now they all want it. They all want a casino. They all want the new kind of betting that's going on and the skill games things. They all want that, and so now all of a sudden it's changed. But it was an incredible battle, and of course I had Park Casino in my backyard. I mean, it was just I mean, the racetrack, actually, not the casino, and people who lived around the corner, people who lived down the street, they were working there. And in fact, I knew John Service before I knew John Service was a trainer. John
Wow.
Service was volunteering his time with his kids and little leagues and being active in the community. So I knew John. I saw John, and all of a sudden, oh my gosh, I didn't know what he did. And then, of course, he was training not just Smarty Jones, but a lot of horses. And so it was really exciting for me. And of course, Governor Ed Rendell was the governor at the time. And after Smarty won, he had the Chapmans up, and he had a lot of people up to the governor's mansion. We all had a nice little dinner outside, and we all were congratulating each other. And I can't say enough about Governor Ed Rendell at the time either, because I would never have gotten gaming done without him. But I really would never have gotten gaming done without Smarty Jones, because he turned the spirit of people around. He really did.
It invigorated everything, and they say that Smarty's the reason why we have a casino today, and why we even still have horse racing.
Oh, absolutely. And I'll never forget taking my daughter, who was, I can't even remember what age she was at the time, but my daughter that's now the state representative, we went up, I got a nice picture with her and Smarty and John when he was, in the backstretch area, and just loved it. And she was thrilled with it. And we just welcomed him, and the community welcomed him. And I like to tell people that I did work very hard on it, but he got me over the hump. Smarty got me over the hump.
How does it feel to be part of such a transformative, moment for Pennsylvania's horse industry? I mean, Act 71 is everything for us.
Well, and just to reiterate, John Service is a tremendous guy, and taking John around and meeting people in Harrisburg was just wonderful. And of course they wanted to. And of course, John's a gentleman, very well spoken, makes good presence, and it all went very well. It's a shame we couldn't take Smarty to the Capitol and walk him through the Capitol, because that would have been more exciting. But I don't know if you've ever been to the Capitol, but it's got that Moravian tile made in Doylestown. And I don't even know how women in high heels walk on that stuff.
Yeah.
So he would have never gone through there. But we were going to everybody's office, talking to people, and he really literally put me over the hump when he won. And of course, John is a wonderful person, and Bob Green. Now, Bob Green was working hard already, but it gave Bob a boost, and all the other people that were working for that bill. It gave us a boost to give us more energy to get out there and be positive about it. But we were received better. And Smarty Jones made it easier for us to be received.
Yeah.
Tommy, it's all about jobs. Horse racing is so important to the economy of Pennsylvania. All the 23,000 jobs and probably more. Tell us how important that is.
Well, that was one of my biggest points that I had to make to my colleagues. When you say to the people from the Erie area or the Penn State area or the rural areas of Pennsylvania, that many jobs, they don't have that many jobs in the whole county.
Right.
So, I stressed how important it was, not for the people. And as I said before, many of the people working at the racetrack were already there working, obviously. And of course, Atlantic City came along and drug a lot of people down to Atlantic City too. So this Smarty Jones helped bring a lot of people back and really invigorated it. And like I said, as hard as I was working, as hard as Bob Green was working, and other people on that, Smarty Jones just picked us right up and put us over the top.
I think a lot of people see the big races, the Kentucky Derby, and I think there's a lot of rich horse owners. But like you said, there's a lot of jobs, a big economic impact, big agriculture here in Pennsylvania. So it really helps our economy.
Well, and people, that was like the thing that got me a little bit in the beginning is agriculture still was our number one industry.
Yeah.
and still is our number one industry. And it's hard for people down in the Southeast to understand that. Of course, when I grew up around here, Ben Salem was all farmland. Levittown came in, but Ben Salem was still all farmland. But so, yeah, it was a great, just a wonderful transition. And like I said, the community already was welcoming John Service. I mean, he was already in the community. And I'll tell you, a lot of people were still going to the track. A lot of people liked going to that track. And you probably don't know this, but early on, the races only ran about 60 days, and then you go to another track. And so we had a harness track right in Northeast Philadelphia, and they were running 60 days harness racing, and then all of a sudden they started running 60 days thoroughbred, and that's when I can't remember. I think it was maybe Herb Barness and some other men got in and put the track in Ben Salem, and that became the thoroughbred track. And so you had two separate tracks going on, the harness and the thoroughbred. And I guess Chester still have a harness track.
Yep, Harris.
Yeah, Harris has that's how they got their license. They didn't have, if you had a track, you got a license.
That's awesome. And there's so many jobs. I mean, people get to live here year round at Parks Racing. Their kids go to the schools. They pay taxes. I mean, it's just a big circular impact.
That's the important thing, is that it was a 60 days here, 60 days somewhere else, 60 days, then it became all year, and people settled here, lived here, bought a house here, went to school here. They became community people. And so I did have some pushback. I had some people, being pretty mad at me, yelling that, you're going to ruin this place. And nah, we're not going to ruin this place at all. We didn't ruin this place. In fact, because of the track, you got the casino. Because of the casino, the town got a lot of money. This town got a lot of money, and the state got a lot of money. And we shared the money with everybody. We didn't do what they did with the gas thing, where they only kept that money in that county. We shared it with every county and across the state. So that money went all around the state. And of course, like I said, now they're appreciating now that gaming is what it is. They don't care if they have skill games or not have skill games in rural Pennsylvania. So,
Tommy, I know that we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about the importance of Bob Green and what he has meant for horse racing at Parks. Tell us a little bit about your friendship and his influence on horse racing.
Well, Bob came over here from England, and he came over here to investigate this track for a company that might invest in it. And he recommended that they do. They did not, and then he asked permission to come over and do it himself, and he did. So Bob came over here and set up the financing and did some work and worked hard. And because Bob genuinely, personally loved horse racing. I mean, he's from England, and he does love horse racing. Of course, English people like horses. They like all kinds of different activities of horses. But Bob loved this track, and he wanted to make this thing work. And he came over here, and he struggled a little bit with it, but he did good. He did really good with it. And of course, once we got the gaming bill passed, of course, just the rest is history. And you can see the nice sides of the casino. But probably the biggest regret I have, not regret, it's all we could do, is we taxed that casino at 54%. And Atlantic City's only taxed at 9%. So when you go to Atlantic City, you can see that they have a lot bigger building, and they invest more back in the casino. But when you're taxed at 54%, it's pretty hard to invest back into that facilities, although they do, and they have. And there's a nice casino there now, and I think they're working on the hotel or motel right in front of the casino to fix that up and spruce that up and make some nice units in there for people to stay, and so be close to the track, be close to the track, and be close to the casino. So, and I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've gone to the casino to stop in and see somebody, and then just took that little 100-yard walk across the parking lot.
Jones Way.
right across the parking lot, and right into the racetrack. And of course, that racetrack has a lot of great memories and a lot of history for me and my community. And even though every time something happened, which is always in politics, as soon as you try to do something new and different, you're always going to get somebody against it. So, but now people recognize the good that racetrack has done and the casino has done, and the people just definitely remember how good Smarty Jones was.
Yeah.
He became our guy.
Certainly did. Tommy, what is life like for you on a daily basis after your Senate career?
I'm retired. And although I am working for the casino, doing some lobbying work for them and seeing what's going on, we are all very, very concerned about these games of skill that are out there. They're in problem. Well, there's a Senator Frank Farry who took my spot, has put a bill together that would allow these in places that serve alcoholic beverages. They could be in VFWs, they can be in bars and taverns, but they can't be in 7-Elevens and Wawas and just smoke shops. And so there's a path forward. I don't know that they're going to get there this year, but they are working on it. But I think the illegal guys still don't want even that to happen. They're getting away with the murder. They've got these machines out there. They're making tons of money, but they don't have to pay any taxes. So that's not fair either. So it's actually an illegal operation, but they're getting away with it. So hopefully in the future, Senator Farry and some other people will be able to. My daughter's working on it and be able to get it in where we got that under control, because it's not under control at all. And as we've all started before, this racetrack was here a long time. I was just a young kid. Well, not quite, but it was a long time ago. And of course, then that brought along the casino. Of course, then the casino gives money back to the racetrack too. Besides the money that the racetrack gets, the casino spends money back on the racetrack.
Well, we're happy and lucky to have you still in the fight. That doesn't sound very retired, though.
It doesn't, but it's nice that I don't have to go up every week. We're not in every week, but probably anywhere between 180 and 200 days a year in Harrisburg in session. And so I don't have to go up all the time, but I'm up there probably once a month and meeting with people and talking to people. And of course, it's amazing. I've been out 2 years now, and they actually remember who I am.
Yeah, well, we'll never forget you.
But I mean, even the people from the rural, and I have great friends that were legislators, and it's nice to go back up and see people and talk to people and stop in their offices and say hello and visit the Capitol. But it's also nice that I don't have to go every week. And of course, now your June and your July are your busiest month up there. Our budget is July, ends in July. So now the real work on the Appropriations Committee and anybody that's interested in getting things in the budget is going on right now. So now there's a lot of work going up there now. So, and I'm heading up there soon to get in there and see how we're making out. But the budget I think is a little short this year, so I don't know what's going to be going on, but they're a little short on revenue, and I think we're carrying a little bit too much debt right now as far as the state's concerned. But that'll all be worked out in the next 3 months.
We'll tell them not to take any of our money like they tried to
Correct.
do with Governor Wolf back in the day.
Oh my gosh! I mean, they hey, to them that's just another pile of money. Absolutely, and you're right. Everybody's always looking for something for nothing.
Any chance we're going to see you up in Saratoga for the great introduction for Smarty Jones?
Is that exciting? Or I mean, I can't tell you how thrilled I am about this. That is just so exciting. I mean, I just think this is great, and I'm working on it. In fact, I even talked to a couple of people and said, "Well, you can fly into here, and this is where you can go." And so I think I'm going to make every effort I can to get up there, because what an honor. I mean, and a well-deserved honor, by the way. Yeah. A tremendous honor. We were all very, very upset when Smarty didn't win that last race.
Belmont Stakes, yep.
The Belmont Stakes. And I mean, I was actually at a wedding in Florida for a good friend of mine. I was in the wedding, and here I am trying to sneak out of the reception and get to a TV to see how Smarty was doing. And of course, that was very disappointing that he didn't make it. But he had a good start, and You guys know more about this than me, but it looked to me like those two horses just tried to run him down, and
Oh yeah,
it just to me looked so sad. I mean, I was just so
yeah.
sad about that. But
He ran a gallant effort for second. Yeah.
he, oh my gosh, look where he finished. Look where they finished. I mean, when those horses finished last, and he just got beat by a nose, or it was just unbelievable. But he should have got it. He should have had the trifecta. But this will help make up for it, putting him in the Hall of Fame. A great horse, and I still have great pictures of taking my daughter up to the stables and seeing Smarty, and he sometimes got a little nasty in the stable. But hey, if I was locked in the stable all day, I'd be nasty too.
He's still pretty tough. Yeah, I mean,
Is he?
he tries to bite you.
Yeah. But he's a horse. He's a racehorse, and he wouldn't be a good racehorse if he didn't have that spirit.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Any final comments, Dani?
No, we're just so appreciative of you. We love them when you come here to parks, and we hope to see you more.
Yeah.
Just to have some fun with us.
Yeah. Well, I when my kids were little, I would always go up, and I always like to go to is it called the paddock area where the horses walk, where they walk around and they warm them up a little bit, because you can really get close to the horse.
Yeah.
And my daughters used to love that. I'd take them up there, and of course, Maddie now has two kids and one on the way, so she's not into horse anymore. But Casey still has a horse, and she loves to ride, and she loves horses, and probably because I used to take them to the track when they were little kids. Oh, yeah. They really, and it's just I mean, I played football and I played a lot of sports, but boy, when you're on that rail and those horses are coming down that stretch to the finish line, I mean, it's exciting. I mean. It's very exciting. And I used to think, why are those people screaming and yelling and jumping and all that? Well, if you go down there and stand there with them, you start to scream and yell and jump too. It's a great sport. It's a wonderful sport. And Smarty helped keep it going for us. And like I said, it started for me just right on Northeast Philadelphia with a little harness track. And then the thoroughbreds came, and then they built the track on Street Road in Ben Salem, and it's been very good for my community. Even though people early on said, "Oh, this is going to be terrible," they were so worried about the traffic. And I said, it's traffic. Well, we put extra lanes in. We put two left-hand lanes. There's two exits right on the Street Road, and there's exits on Mechanicsville Road and exits on Knights Road. There's so many different ways to get in. There's no backup on traffic getting in and out of there. And but I heard a lot about that from local people, but that turned out to be good. And so all those people that were critical of me early on, they've seen how good it's worked out. And of course, I'll go right back to it. As hard as I worked, as hard as Bob Green worked, as hard as we all worked on that bill, Smarty Jones put us over the hump. Everybody fell in love with Smarty Jones. It was amazing. People who were not even around here, not even anywhere around the racetrack up in rural Pennsylvania. Once Smarty Jones won those races, they fell in love with him. So
that's why he's a Hall of Famer.
And he's still here in Pennsylvania, isn't he?
Yep.
Yep. He's up in at Equistar Farm, and he's still breeding at the age of 24.
Isn't that something? Well, that's wonderful. Well, he was an amazing horse, an absolutely amazing horse, and we were so lucky and fortunate. We gotta thank the Chapman family for all they did, and Bob Green for having a facility here that's possible. Because, like I said, he came here because he wanted horse racing, and that's that, and he kept it alive because the fellow that had it was going bankrupt at the time and was getting out of it. So Bob was able to get in and get some money up and get it and turn it around.
Well, we appreciate you coming on Gate to Wire and spending your time with us, and keep up the good work.
Thank you, and happy to do it. And hopefully I'll get some arrangements, and I'll be up there to see him being inducted into the Hall of Fame.
We hope to see you, Tommy.
Thank you. Thanks so much. Yep.